Welcome to Golden State Media Concepts Technology Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Charney, and this is episode 4. Today we're going to be talking about the new update coming out for the Xbox One, along with my favorite video games, and we'll talk a little bit of drones about in the end of that episode. Now, according to K2.com, it's Kotaku.com, Microsoft is preparing at least 2 models for release in the next 2 years, sources say. Later this year, they'll see a smaller Xbox One, and the year after, they'll see a more powerful version of the Premier console. Now, the 2 consoles form up a wider part of Microsoft's strategy, codenamed Project Helix, according to one of the sources from Kotaku. Now, sources say instead of a major hardware revision every 5 or 6 years, what Microsoft is going to be doing is a minor to major hardware release every couple of years. So this is probably what it is. It's probably a cost savings measure on them on the R&D time. I mean, they already have the hardware and the platform. What they're going to do is probably upgrade the hardware a little bit over time, make it faster, and maybe every 10 years doing this, they'll be able to release a major revision. So their hardware and R&D budget will be, they'll spend less money basically. At least that's the way I read it. The other thing what this do is this will let them do 4K. Now, Microsoft's current Blu-ray player and the Xbox One is not capable of reading 4K discs and is not capable of actually playing 4K discs on a TV screen. Now, mind you, the PlayStation 4 is the same way. Their Blu-ray player cannot do 4K, and they cannot play 4K. And so with 4K TVs coming out a lot now, there's a ton on the market currently from pretty much every major manufacturer. Microsoft is definitely saying, okay, it's time that we do better. It's time that we actually update this. So this is a good thing. I do see the hardware revisions a good thing. I have been reading saying that any games capable of playing on the new ones have to play on the old ones. So basically what that means is all the games have to play on all the revisions. So probably what you're going to get is if I have the day one edition of the Xbox One and say next year comes out a new version and it's faster, it's greater, it's just a better console. Now what they're saying on that one is that has to play on the original one along with the new one. So what you're going to get is probably on the new one you're going to get better graphics, maybe some other features in the game. It's going to look better, sound better. It'll probably be at 4K or at least convert to 4K, especially if a 4K TV. So this is a good thing as long as there's some compatibility built in. And Microsoft's always been about legacy hardware. If you don't believe me, take a look at the Windows, like XP, for example, and Windows 7, Windows 8. They all support legacy hardware. So this is going to be a good thing, I think, for me as a gamer and for you as a gamer, because this will allow you and me to get minor updates. Now, the only thing is it's going to be the full price. So you're going to be paying $399. Now, granted, I paid $600 or $500 for mine because the day one edition probably came with the world's most useless peripheral, being the Xbox Kinect, because I don't think I've used it. Now that I think about it, I think I played one Wave Runner type of game on it. I don't tell the Xbox to turn off or change channels or like Xbox search. By the way, sorry about that. I don't know. So it's going to be $399, or I know they said there's two versions, so probably like a $299 or $399 version, like they did later on with the 360, how there was the Elite and non-Elite. The question is there going to be enough of a difference to buy it? Now, the Elite, I think, was the one that came with an HDMI port at first, because I think the Elite came with an HDMI port, had a little bit of a better, hardware update, a little bit better software on it, if that makes sense. So we'll see. I'm not completely convinced, honestly, about it. I don't know if it's going to be a good thing or not. I think it is, but I know me as a consumer, I don't see me buying another one. But on the other hand, I had 2 original Xboxes. I had 3 360s. So if the way I've been buying Microsoft gaming consoles continue, I'm going to be buying 4 Xbox Ones. So maybe that'll be better for me, because at least I'm getting something different than what I got before. Now, I know this is a little bit of old news when it comes to 360s, but I did want to talk about it a little bit. Now, the 360's major problem was what was called red rings of death. Now, for me personally, Microsoft's first major update on my very first Xbox One, my Xbox 360 console, was killed by Microsoft. So I don't know. So far, the One is stable. I haven't had any issues really with it. I haven't really had any major issues with it. Now, I have had some issues with video games locking up. I know Fallout 4 recently locked it up. We'll talk about later, and We'll talk about, video games later on in the episode. But what do you think? I mean, they do say there'll be 4K resolutions, possibly a GPU, graphics card unit, processor. So what do you think? Is there anything that you'd want to see differently? Now, it is potentially, and this is kind of a guess and a little bit of rumor, that it'll be able to play things like the Oculus Rift and other virtual reality goggles. I know allegedly PlayStation and Sony have one coming out for their console. What do you want? If you were, say, in charge of the Xbox team and say, I want this change made, what change would it be? Would it be more outputs? Do you want like an optical output? Do you want 2 Blu-ray disc players? Do you want a bigger hard drive? Personally, the one thing I want is like hard drives you can swap out. Now, the 360 had that, and granted, I never used it, but I want to be able to swap in a terabyte to 4 terabyte drives. Now, there is, I think Microsoft released a portable hard drive you can plug in. There's a third-party company making, basically making a, what do you call it? It's a hard drive tray. Basically, you pop in your hard drive trace and plug it in. So that's something I really want. I'd love to have a bigger hard drive, and I don't want a terabyte. I want a 4 or 5. I want the biggest you can get, especially now that you have to install the games in the consoles. It's definitely taking up more room. I think I have 6 games on my Xbox One, and it's almost taking up the entire thing. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I know PlayStation, according to what I've read, is doing something very similar. Now, according to what it is, Sony's PlayStation's working on at least what they're calling on Inside is this PlayStation 4.5. Just like, I said, they cannot do 4K resolutions, so they're definitely going to do that. It's supposed to have a little bit of better processing power. Now, the best thing about the PlayStation 4 compared to the latest version, it doesn't use the cell processor. It uses standard x86 processor parts, so it's definitely easier to upgrade it. You don't have to worry about getting an upgrade to a processor that nobody uses, which is a cell processor. Now, Netflix. This is a little bit weird. I think now Netflix has said that this is something they're excited about, to be able to play 4K. Now, this is definitely something they're going to do for both consoles. And the reason I say it's weird is because consoles are no really longer gaming systems, not completely. They have gone from gaming only, which is pretty much every system besides the Xbox, before the Xbox has been just gaming only. If you want to look at the PlayStation, all the Nintendo products up from before the Wii U were just gaming systems. They were relegated to pretty much kids' systems and some enthusiasts like myself. But now with Xbox and PlayStation, you get Netflix, Hulu, Crackle. You get a lot of content. So the best thing about it now is that if it's able to play 4K, Netflix is saying, hey, if you do 4K, we'll support it from our side so you can play our 4K resolution stuff from Netflix. Now, granted, there are some caveats to that, and the caveat is being what your connection is. Now, Netflix has said, and by the way, this is a tad bit of a sidebar. Now, Netflix has said some ISPs don't give Netflix the speed, so it's definitely going to be varied up to you. But 4K will take up a lot of bandwidth, and right now, there's no really way to get around how much bandwidth are going to be required to 4K. And now, I want to warn you, if you want to play a 4K movie online, I hope you don't have a bandwidth cap, especially like some of the ones out in rural areas, like HughesNet, for example. Satellites and have a very small cap. So if you're playing a 4K movie or a 1080p movie, you can easily blow through a cap in a day. So just want to make sure you be careful about that. Now, I'm excited about it. What do you think? Is this something you're into? Is this something you want? I know I'm hammering on this, but I really want to know what you think. Now, we're coming up to a break, and right after the break, we're going to be talking about some of my favorite video games. So make sure you hold on.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Now, right now, my favorite video game is Fallout 4. And Bethesda, the creators of Fallout 4, had said something to me that I'm really interested to see how it works. Now, the 31st, which is tomorrow, Bethesda said they're going to allow mods. Now, if there's any PC gamers out there, you already know what mods are. But most console gamers have really never had the opportunity to play mods. Now, what basically mods are is they're add-ons to the game. Like, for example, you can get different weapons, different missions. Say in Fallout, you can actually build buildings in your houses. You can get different materials and stuff like that. And what this is, it just enhances the game. Now, most mods are actually third-party mods done by people. Maybe a gaming group, maybe one individual. There was a ton for Skyrim and Oblivion and the Elder Scroll games. Now, the coolest thing about that is it extends the gameplay. Now, Bethesda said they already finished releasing the last DLC for Fallout 4, which was Far Harbor. Now, Far Harbor adds a decent amount of gameplay to it. But what do you do after you beat that? So I'm excited about mods. I'm really hoping that somebody comes out with a huge DLC that basically adds more gameplay that's not done by Bethesda, but the benefit about that, it's done by people who love the game. And if they love the game, they're going to make it awesome, because there's some amazing add-ons for the PC version of Skyrim and Oblivion. If you don't believe me, check it out. There's it's not hard to find. Just type in Fallout 4 mods for the PC. Now, this is something I signed up for on Bethesda. I was hoping I can get in the beta. So pretty much what it looks like you have to do is you have to make an account on Bethesda.com or I think it's Bethesda.com or Fallout.com. I don't remember which. Basically, what you do, you sign up for it. You tell them which platform you want. So, you select Xbox One. Now, there are some limitations about it. It looks like the max any can do is 2 gigabytes. And I'm thinking that's for all the mods. So maybe there won't be any giant mods just because the size limitation. But what you do is you find the ones you want. You click on a few. And I'm assuming what you do is you hit upload or notify or something. And then you run to your Xbox console, turn it on. And then the add-on menu, it should be listed in that menu, at least the way I understand it. And I'm really excited. And they have, let's see. Now, the one thing there is let's see. Bethesda talked more about how Fallout 4 mods will work on the Xbox One. Additionally, Bethesda confirmed that when you have Fallout 4 mods installed, due to first-party considerations, you cannot earn any achievements. The developers also talked about how in order to play Fallout 4 mods that make use of the DLC, you need to own the DLC. Now, that's actually not uncommon about the first part of what I said about mods stopping you from getting achievements. And a lot of PC games, for example, if you use cheats or you do mods, especially if it's about a certain part of the story or something like that, it really does break the game. I know traditionally in a lot of games, if you cheat, for example, you won't be able to get anything. You can play the game, but you're not going to get hey, Mario saved the princess. Just the way it goes, because they think it's cheating. Yeah, I don't know if I think it's cheating. But hey, really play the game how you want. This, to me, is exciting. I am so beyond jazzed about mods. For example, there was a mod I think it was for Oblivion I picked up that lets you, summon characters. So I found it allows you to do lots of things. So what I did is I found a lot of these things and was just casting people in a big arena, and you watch all the NPCs fight. Now, you're probably going to say, oh my God, that's horrible. See, the cool thing about this is it lets you do things in the game that designers never imagine. And when you do that, the designers are taking a look at it and going, hey, look what they're doing. Let's incorporate this into the next game. Trust me, developers like mods because they get to see what you're doing, how you're doing it, and it allows them to kind of gauge what their community likes in their gameplay. And at the end of everything, they want you and me as their community who likes their game to enjoy it. So trust me, this is awesome. I'm really excited about it. I mean, what do you think? Do you like the idea of mods in consoles? Do you think it should be left alone? Do you think they should just instead of focusing on mods, do another DLC? What do you think? I would love to know. Now, the next game I'm talking about is a game which I've loved the series from the beginning. Now, the original version of Deus Ex, this is the game we're talking about. We're talking about Deus Ex Mankind Divided, which is the latest in the series. Now, Deus Ex originally started in 2000. It was originally a PC game only. The next one was Deus Ex Invisible War, which was for consoles. It was on the 360. It was on the original Xbox, and I think it was on PlayStation, but I wouldn't quote me on that. That came out in 2003, and there was Human Revolution that came out in 2011. Now, I do want to tell you that I loved all the games. I loved Human Revolution, except for one part. Now, if you ever play these games or read about them, they tell you that they're open world. They'll let you go anywhere you want, that you can do almost anything, discover and play around. And Human Revolution broke that in the end by having boss battles you can't get around. Now, I know there's a lot of people going, "Oh, what's wrong with boss battles? It's a video game. There's always boss battles." You're not wrong. There always is. The problem with the boss battles they did is, gameplay-wise, they went back like 10 years. These were forced boss battles. They were one-dimensional, basically meaning all you could do was fight them. There wasn't other ways to go around it, and you couldn't skip them. And a lot of the time with open-world games, there's always multiple ways to defeat a boss. There's always, whether, there's a trap or there's a button, or you can face them head on, or you can sneak from behind. The boss battles on Human Revolution did not do that. Now, Mankind Divided, however, I'm thinking they're going to do better, because honestly, the people who made Deus Ex Human Revolution got a lot of flack for it. They got a monstrous amount of flack, and they actually apologized for it a little while later. They actually said they had a press release or something on the website basically saying, "We're sorry, because we wanted our game to come out in a certain time frame, we farmed out a certain part of our game, and we didn't know it was this bad." To me, that was okay. They recognized the problem, they moved on. Then Mankind Divided is, I'm really looking forward to it. It's supposed to be an amazing game. Now, I think I'm kind of jumping the shark a little bit, because I don't know if you know what it's about. So let me read the synopsis, and this is off Wikipedia, because honestly, I think this is the best description of it. Deus Ex Mankind Divided is an upcoming cyberpunk-themed action role-playing video game, combining first-person shooting style stealth role-playing elements, developed by Eidos Interactive. Now you know who did it. Now, basically the story of it, the original one and a little bit of the new one, is it takes place in the future. It's very cyberpunk. Now, the very first one, Deus Ex, had nano machines, had nanobots, something like that. They had modifications to the human body, would allow you to have a force field, would allow you to have a gun out of your fingertips, with stuff like this. And Human Revolution started, instead of having nanobots, it was mechanized modifications. Like, one of the modifications was there's the scene, I think you'd call it in Mortal Kombat like a fatality. The hands move back and like a katana would pop out of his hands. So the coolest thing about this is you get to see kind of what's actually happening a little bit in real life and what the goal is, and you'll see what I'm saying at the end of the show. There's a really cool story I'll tell you about. Now, this takes place in a very tumultuous time within this universe. Basically, what's happening is there's people who are augmented and normal people, and how they fight. This is an old story around. This is a very old type of story, X-Men, stuff like that. But I'm absolutely in love with the Deus Ex universe. It's an absolutely amazing game, at least from the other 4 I've played. There is one called Snowblind that takes place in the universe, and one of these days when we do a gaming-only show, I'll talk more about it. But it is something that's really awesome. I do want to talk about just a little bit of a short tidbit. Is one of my all-time favorite games, System Shock 2. The rights for it, the company originally made it, got split up, and I think there were 5 different companies who technically own the rights to the game. One company somehow acquired all its rights, and they're actually making a System Shock 3, along with allegedly they're going to do a digital remake of System Shock 2. Now, I want you to look up System Shock because it was one of the first games that legitimately scared me. You've got to take a look at it. Just trust me. Look, gameplay footage, read about it. When I have a little bit more time, because we're coming up to a break, I'll really talk about it. You'll see. It's an awesome game. And I do want you to tell me, what's your favorite game? What's your favorite method of playing video games? Are you part of the PC Master Race? Are you a console gamer? Do you like portable gaming? Do you like gaming on your cell phone? Tell me, what is your favorite method for gaming? And we're coming up to a break right now, so I'll catch you at the other side.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now. Don't bother. What's hot on Netflix and everything in between. That's gsmcpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
And this part of the show, we're going to be talking about drones. What drones are basically, they're an unmanned vehicle that allow you to do different things. Now, the drone that I've used it's the Phantom 3. I think it's EGI that released it. And this particular drone I've used is a four-rotor drone. It's a four-rotor drone that has a control surface, and the screen actually requires you to have an iPod or an iPad. It has a 4K camera, and honestly, it's amazing. It's an amazing piece of kit. It, however, does sound like a herd of bees, so it's definitely not the most quietest drone in the world. And the benefit about drones, for example, is it allows you to do different things. Like, for example, nature shoots. If you go hiking in the backwoods somewhere, launch your drone, allows you to get some amazing footage. The problem they have with drones nowadays is people interfering with the normal way of things. Like, for example, people flying in airports. Now, if you don't know anything about that, what that actually is, it's actually a violation of FAA rules. Airports are very controlled airspace. You can't do anything with an airport's airspace without getting permission from a tower. Like, for example, if you're having an airplane, you can't technically land without getting permission to do so. So it is an issue. I know, was it the King Fire? And some of the major fires we've had in California lately, people have been flying drones, and the bombers that launched that, that dropped that fire retardant stuff, they can't actually fly when there's a drone in the way. And they were actually having some big problems with that. One of the reasons why the FAA came out with some rules for it. And in the show notes, you'll actually find the link for it. Now, for everything I've found, they actually consider it like a model aircraft. I think the rules still apply. On the other hand, they actually have a UAS, which I'm assuming is an unmanned something. So the rules like fly before 400 feet, remain clear of surrounding obstacles, keep aircraft within visible line of sight. Which, depending on what you do with your drone, could actually be hard because you can get pretty high with a drone and it's steady. It's not like a remote controlled airplane. Well, you have to see it to see what you're doing. A drone can get pretty high, and it has a camera, so you can keep in contact with it a lot. Don't fly near people or stadiums. Don't fly aircraft that weighs more than 55 pounds. Don't be careless and reckless. Now, there is a rule brought to you by the FAA that you actually have to register your drone. I think it's if it's over 5 pounds. Now, I really like the drone. I'm not quite sure if it's something I get. The drone I have access to, the Phantom 3, I've yet to really find a use for it in my daily life, or even as like a cameraman, because I've done camera shoots for people, and I'm not quite sure what I would use it for. Granted, I also do a lot of like movie shoots. A drone for using a drone on a movie shoot, for example, would probably be a lot better. It allows you, say if you're doing this, say if you're on the prairie somewhere, a drone would allow you to get an amazing sweeping view of it fairly cheap. Or say if you're doing one of these scenes, there's a guy on a horse running around, you could easily stay along with a horse and track it that way. I've done more one-on-one interviews and filming commercials. It's something, at least what I've done, I don't really have a use for a drone. They're fun. I like playing with them. And the most amazing thing with me, there's actually a bunch of different type of drones. Now, there's FPV/racing drones, there's toy drones, and camera drones. Now, the drone I have access to is, I guess technically, it's a camera drone. Now, I do want to talk about something cool about that particular camera, that particular drone, the EGA Phantom 3, is it does some interesting things. Like, one of the things it has with it's called instant landing, or a manned controlled landing, or something like that. Pretty much what it is, after you take off, you fly around, and if you want it to land, what you do is beforehand you set a marker, and you just hit land. After that, you set a marker, play around it for a while, then you hit a button, and it automatically lands for you, instead of you destroying it, for example. Because I did that a few times. I hit it pretty hard landing. I'm pretty sure I broke a rotor. The other thing it does is It limits you on the areas you can go. Now, I've been reading up a little bit about this, and what it basically says it does is it keeps a list of no-fly zones. Say if you're near an airport, a military base, I don't know, Washington, D.C., for example, you can't fly in that area. I'm fine by that. I don't know. I have no reason why I want to go over to a military base. I have no desire to actually cause a plane crash. Not something I care about. Far as flying into. So I'm totally fine with the rules. And I know people who are upset about the rules, even registering drones, because they're thinking, well, why should I register my drone? So you do have to do it for other things. There are rules. So, that's, I don't know, to me, that's fine. But what do you think? Do you like drones? Do you want a drone? Do you think drones are useless? If you had a drone, what would you want? Would you want a camera drone, a racing drone, a toy drone? Now, the most interesting thing about drones is what they're using to stop drones. There's a country, I think it's France, it's actually training eagles to take out drones. I think there's a Asian country, I think it's China or Japan, I wouldn't quote me on that actually has a drone that shoots a net to take down other drones. So now there's anti-drone drones. What do you think? Do you think drones are a gimmick? Do you think they're like 3D TVs? Do you think drones are latest and greatest? And I realize that United States military has used drones for years, so I know drones aren't necessarily a fad, but what do you think for civilians? For non-military types, do you think it's just something that it'll go away? Now, I wouldn't mind having a drone that I could play with for myself. I don't know about a racing drone, but maybe something around those lines. I think it would be fun. I could goof around with it. But on the other hand, for me, it would be a toy. So maybe it would be something that I wouldn't use all the time. Maybe it would be something that I would use for a couple hours and, kind of set it and forget about it. It'd be sitting in my archive forever. So what do you think? Do you want a drone, personally? Now, on the other hand, I do really want the 4K camera that's attached to said drone. Now, the camera drones, I know I'm jumping around here, so I'm kind of sorry about that, but the camera drones, a lot of the cameras I've seen on these drones are actually built on a gimbal, so it allows you to actually have image stabilization. The one I have access to, it allows you to control the camera a little bit. Not major motion, but it's, forward and down motion. What I really wish you could do is you could have somebody fly the drone, and then you kind of control the camera. You go left and right and up and down. And maybe there's drones out there that do that. I don't know. I haven't really taken that much of a look into the drones that are out there just because it's not something that, for me and what I do, doesn't really interest me. Now, if I did a lot of movie shoots, I would totally want one because that's just an extra tool in the bag that I could use. Now, I want to let you know that we are on iTunes and other areas. Make sure you go to gsmcpodcast.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Just make sure you read the show notes and get in contact with us. And I want to know a couple of things. So what do you think? What do you think about the hardware revisions for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One? Do you like video games? What's your favorite video games? Are you really into Fallout? Are you looking forward to Deus Ex Mankind Divided? And what do you think about drones? What to you is the perfect drone? Now, we've done a lot of stories today. I want to make sure you check us out, but make sure the first thing you do, go on to iTunes, click the subscribe button, so make sure that you can get all the latest and greatest episodes from Golden State Media Concepts Technology Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Charney. Thank you for listening.